We are live. This is the market update. I am your host, Bill Noble. If you need a roadmap in crypto, stay with this group. Turn on alerts in Discord so you know when we're going live. And if the content works for you, please hit the like button and the feedback form down below. Okay, let's welcome who's here on this sleepy day, August 27th. Alexandra, first on the stream. Welcome. Corey, today's Tech Bites. Malik, David, Brandon, what's up? Pappy, how you doing? Some new names. Zwani, James Spencer, Zapatus, welcome. Welcome to the show. All right, let's get busy with some news. All right, let's talk about Toncoin. Let's talk about something that you may not have heard about Toncoin. Pantera Capital is a huge venture capital group in crypto. And this report surfaced it's from May, but it's about Pantera talking about Toncoin and how it's their largest investment ever. Now, we'll go over the charts of Toncoin, but the simple fact of the matter is the publicity that the owner or founder of Telegram will now bring to Toncoin feels significant. Significant enough to put it on global radar, even if it was already a top 10 crypto. And even though the legal charges against this information are everything from misinformation to illicit information, failure to respond to government requests for this and that, this is going to make him a hero. It's going to make Telegram more popular, and it may wind up reinforcing, the value proposition of Toncoin. Now, they can maybe hit it one more time in the short term. Okay, we'll go through that chart. Right, actually, right. I'll make sure I go through it. I think I have it in the PowerPoint. Okay. Now, if you're wondering why the market is down today, it's probably because NVIDIA's earnings are out tomorrow. So, capital markets love this thing where NVIDIA is the AI trade. The AI trade drives stocks. Therefore, NVIDIA drives all of capital markets. It's kind of stupid. NVIDIA is a chip company, but the way they play the earnings game in stocks is that, they'll give you a level of earnings and then they'll expect NVIDIA to dramatically exceed them in order for NVIDIA's stock to continue to go higher and higher and higher. So naturally here in NVIDIA, you can see the panic from, hedge funds getting liquidated on the Japan carry trade. Look at this brutal candlestick here, this like blow off bottom. And then it comes back up. There is reason to believe that this correction is out of steam. I don't know if I would blame anybody for hedging an NVIDIA position into this recent earnings release. 122 to 124, Lux Algo is inserting support underneath the rally. So this could be simply NVIDIA going sideways before going higher. Now, if NVIDIA does wind up making a new high, that's going to be constructive for crypto. And conversely, if the earnings are terrible, then, that is probably going to create a deeper correction in crypto and put us in a mode where crypto is in a basing process during the last half of August and the first half of September, just like it was last year. This is like the repeat of last year, seemingly so painful, but the markets are so silly. Like first it's like, oh my God, everything revolves around the Fed. Then the Fed comes out, everyone forgets about that. Bitcoin is at the same level, right? Now it's like, oh my God, the next drama is NVIDIA earnings, which really has nothing to do with crypto. Actually, I think if people get out of NVIDIA, it makes a case for AI-based crypto. But whatever. The market and the algos will find the next drama. NVIDIA is the next drama. Meanwhile, PayPal stablecoin hits 1 billion in market cap. So liquidity is being created inside the crypto universe. Inside the crypto universe, PayPal is creating liquidity that, frankly, at some point can only wind up in Bitcoin. Now, Ethereum is at an all-time low on exchanges. That's bullish on one hand. On the other hand, the media is cranking up the FUD. So ETH versus Bitcoin, which we're about to take a look at in detail, has fallen to a 40-month low. And then, of course, you have media hyperbole. Bitcoin won't end in a dollar. ETH versus Bitcoin won't end in a dollar free fall scenario. Really? Okay. Well, ETH does very well when metals go down, metals go up, and the dollars go down. So I'm not sure what this guy's talking about. And, there is the legitimate problem of, outflows from ETH ETF. People are just not that interested. But if they're not that interested to the point where it gets attention on Bloomberg, where, all the journalism majors are financial geniuses, right? In other words, everybody wants to buy NVIDIA and nobody wants to buy Ethereum. Seems insane to me. Seems insane. Okay, let's take a look at Ethereum monthly. So Ethereum on a monthly chart, right? There is enormous support at this level where 0.04, and this goes back. Are you ready for this? This level goes all the way back to November of 2018, right? This is where the market took off from in April of 2021. So this level for ETH versus Bitcoin is frankly enormous. Now, I don't know. They can take it lower into this area if they want. Okay, this is the 2-day chart. Okay, it has reached what you would call the green discount zone in Lux Algo, meaning, I don't know, ETH versus Bitcoin is starting to get irresistibly cheap on a 2-hour chart. And this little X means we may be in a blow-off bottom stage. So everybody has completely given up on ETH. I don't know that that makes sense if they puke it into the end of the month. I don't know. This feels like literally it's time to enter Ethereum. Okay, if you look at the 4-hour chart of ETH versus Bitcoin, right? ETH is already in the discount zone and is a quarter of an inch away from, is like one heave away from, right. So ETH versus Bitcoin is now basically at the Black Monday low. So they're really giving up on it headed into the end of the month. And the media is giving up on it, which makes me want to be constructive. Now, you're probably wondering again, why is the market down? I think the market is down for 2 reasons. 1, everyone's afraid of NVIDIA earnings. And 2, sometimes I wonder if the government just leans on Bitcoin, right? In other words, the only seller in the world in Bitcoin is the U.S. government. And frankly, we have seen governments behave in such a way, like there was a tweet yesterday where, they outlined all the different things that all these different governments are doing to like muzzle free speech. It's unbelievable, right? Now, one other thing. I forgot. Okay, let's go to the latest Telegram news. So Telegram is now associating what happened with the TON CEO to say it has worrying implications for crypto. All right, so going back to this, it is disturbing. It is going to disturb the ecosystem if you have a top 10 coin fall 30%. And we'll see it's bouncing today, but that's also an organic disturbance for crypto. Now, back to the government. If the US government is leaning on Bitcoin, that ends one day. One day that ends, hopefully in November, right? So we're going to have to keep a stiff upper lip. Now, there's also a side story, right? Especially about freedom of expression, that the guy who showed me how to use Lux Algo, a TA influencer called, a crypto influencer called TA Tim, who's on a channel called Investing Bros, which, like I said, is a bunch of guys in hoodies and baseball caps doing TA on crypto, like the rest of us. Yeah, YouTube shut him off yesterday. Apparently, there was a video that they didn't like. They took the video down and then they shut him off. And Altcoin Daily was taking to Twitter last night trying to get his account restored. You know, you say the wrong thing these days and you're in trouble. And I'm sorry, you know, while on one hand, you know, Nvidia earnings and a disturbance with the top 10 coin can weigh on the market, but it's clear the government doesn't want freedom of expression. It's clear that if they're not into freedom of expression, your financial freedom and your bank account don't matter either. So you really got to start asking yourself, when the market is down like this, you know, as a colleague of mine says, you got to think about shopping, particularly if the market goes into like a dormant style range. Like, you know, if you have a basing process in Arrow, Arkham, all of these like Kaizen coins, you may get a basing or healing period. And that's frankly an entry point. Okay, so here we go. Bitcoin price warning, right? You know, the market doesn't go above 60. So everybody's now, the market doesn't go above 65. So this was FOMO up here. And now everyone wants it to go back down to 60, unwinding the whole Fed dovish statement, right? Again, who's selling Bitcoin here? I don't know. The only seller I can think of is the government. Okay, Solana is, you know, in sideways mode. And, you know, the media, there's so little to talk about that the media has to resort to drawing triangles, right? Okay, you do have things like total crypto market cap consolidating in a square range. But Solana is a waiting game. We'll go through it in the PowerPoint. Now, if you want to know one of the reasons why, you know, they're arresting the guy from Telegram and my TA buddies are getting shut off YouTube, that's because this thing with Kennedy has turned U.S. politics, right? Kennedy has been appointed to essentially staff Trump's cabinet. He's going to be in charge of the transition team if he wins. This means that Trump won't accidentally or intentionally make the mistake of putting people with, you know, deep state, defense contractors, pharmaceutical interests ahead of people who care about America. And Kennedy is on TV everywhere. And now it's almost like you've got, you know, you've got all this intense star power behind Trump. So every time there's good news on Trump, they hit crypto. I mean, I'm just saying. I mean, Trump was at Bitcoin Miami, Bitcoin Nashville at 74K. The crypto bros are cheering, jumping up and down. Boom, Bitcoin gets hit. Who's the seller? U.S. and German governments. Kennedy comes on, putting Bitcoin brain power in the White House. You know, Trump getting allies from, you know, the center and the, you know, from the center, right? Boom, crypto goes down. You know, not an accident in my mind, but, you know, Kennedy is changing Kennedy is changing this. Now, the Russians are over it, and they're going to start using crypto on September 1st. Okay. This is where, RFK is telling Tucker Carlson about, the story about Kennedy being assigned to the transition team. Michael Burry is noting that when the interest on your debt eclipses your tax income, you're in trouble, right? The dollar is not bouncing. Dollar has been down only all month, no bounce in the dollar, yet crypto continues to be sold. Somewhere in this area, we're in the shopping zone in crypto, even if we have to wait it out through September, right? This type of stuff, I put this in the stream to remind you that, I know we all wanted to have the Fed statement come on and have this thing go up. I did too. But then they turn around and they give you another discouraging retracement or range. Who cares, right? The dollar has to go lower for a variety of reasons, right? U.S. interest rates have got to come down. Trump wants the dollar lower for U.S. competitiveness abroad. And once the dollar starts going, it's going to keep going. And that's going to be Bitcoin constructive. And you know what? The powers that be actually out there know this. So more news. U.S. fertility rate reaches a low. Why is this relevant to crypto? Because young people who are out there who don't feel like having babies, who can't buy a house, blah, blah, blah. The positive response to the negative news is crypto. It's the green button. What are they going to do? Buy NVIDIA at a $3 trillion market cap and then suddenly get enough money for a house or get enough money where they feel like, getting married and having a family? How does this get resolved? How does it get resolved? Crypto, right? All things in nature have counterbalancing forces. So negative, negative, negative. What's over here? Positive, positive, positive. I'm guessing a centrist pro-business U.S. government and crypto, period. Right? Okay. So, I as an old guy, I love how they romanticize like the early 80s. Interest rates were at 18% in like the early 80s, and it was kind of a god-awful recession. Now, this is funny because, that's what $20 worth of groceries got you in 1980. And later on in the 80s, you could go to Wall Street and earn six figures. And if that's what you could get for $20 and you had six figures, you were rich, which is why all young whippersnappers like me wanted to get to Wall Street, right? That's why we wanted to get there. I like markets and economics, but I mean, if that's what you got for $20 and you earned 100,000, you were doing okay. Again, how are you going to do this today? How are you going to do it today? Okay, the market's down. Okay, I'm depressed. Yeah, but dude, the innovation that's coming, the stuff that's going to sit on layer ones, the next round of meme coins, right? How do you get a grocery cart like that? Crypto. Okay. Goldman cuts outlook for oil. Okay. Hopefully this is not something we fade, right? The geopolitical situation really got oil up to 78. Announced wars don't happen. So if there's no announced wars, demand for oil, I don't know. Let's hope the investment banks are right. Boy, this thing about office space downtown, man, in downtown areas, $500 billion drop in office values. Again, the banking system, and I saw a pretty smart group. Let's just go over here. Let's come off NVIDIA and let's go to JP Morgan. I saw some smart group yesterday getting short this. Wow. So JP Morgan makes a new high. There's a Lux Algo. There's a Lux Algo sell signal here. Right. Now, I know that the interest rate cuts could be good for JP Morgan. It did make a new high. There's support underneath. Something to consider for long Bitcoin, short the banks if it turns. Just something to keep, I'm just putting stuff on your radar, right? Okay. Let's go to PowerPoint, see who else is here. Okay, Mr. Relentless, good morning. Bizan, never too late, never too early, right on time. Okay, is this where people might thought to get into privacy coins? Dude, privacy coins. You know what? I just can't think of a better idea. I know that Zcash, because I've been following this, because this has been like my pet project to the point where I don't like jinxing it, right? So Zcash is actually coming off, right? Zcash was up at 44, now back to 37. My understanding, the Zcash wallet, Zashi, okay, share screen, sorry. My understanding that the Zcash wallet, Zashi, is going to have like possibly a fiat to Zcash functionality so that you don't necessarily have to go through a centralized exchange. People, the more you learn about privacy, the more you learn about how to protect your money, even if it's just getting Bitcoin in a stash, in a cold wallet, or even just in a hot wallet, not on an exchange, on your phone, in case you needed to pay for something. I mean, Zcash has done well. And if they're going to do a retracement, or who knows, maybe they're going to go back down to support at 32. That's where all the Lux Algo support is. If it's kind of a, I don't know, for lack of a better term, crappy early September. Yeah, man. You want to look at this. 38% back in Zcash is at 34. So if they give you the opportunity, yeah, you want to look at it. You do. Okay. It's a great point. Because, what's going on here is A, ridiculous, and B, it's not going away. It is not going away. Okay. So when we look at DeMark on like an Ethereum 4-hour chart, we see that we're approaching that 9 bottom signal. So this is a quantitative metric where you look for bottoms and tops when you see a 9 signal or a 13 signal. The quantitative system it's counting bars in a trend. When we get to the 13th bar and the 9 bar in a trend, we see if a reversal is possible. This looks like a big puke into the end of the month. 2,600 is support. ETH unwound the entire Jackson Hole rally. Meaning, the Fed's going to cut rates. Let's sell anyway. Who's the seller? The government. That's what it feels like to me, right? Bitcoin, more discouraging price action. Okay, you do have a 9 bottom here. You do have moving average support at 61,500. I'm more inclined to think that there's going to be a bounce off NVIDIA earnings looking at these charts. I mean, if there isn't, we're probably looking at like 3 more days down. But, if everyone's freaking out over NVIDIA earnings except NVIDIA, right? Crypto's freaking out over NVIDIA earnings. Okay, Solana, as that article pointed out, really isn't doing anything. There's support at 153. I have such a hard time thinking that you're going to see Solana below 150. And even if you did, you got to scoop it up because there's going to be another meme mania. In other words, everything about the correction this year has repeated itself. So why wouldn't everything about the rally in the fourth quarter of this year and the first quarter of next year not also repeat when you have a much stronger case for a lower dollar and higher Bitcoin? Okay. So this is the Toncoin TA that we discussed. So this X here, is from their Elliott wave indicator, meaning that there could be additional corrective activity, which is exactly what you got in Toncoin with yesterday's heave right into support where, the momentum indicator did not make new lows. That's a whole bunch of technical gibberish saying, you know what, that could be it in Toncoin. That could be it. $5, people wanted to buy in front of $5. I mean, that's a lot cheaper than where it was at $7.50. I was on a show last night with a guy that says, I thought I missed it and I thought I was going to have to start buying the small dips. Now I can buy the big one, right? If you look at a 2-day chart, the 38% retracement is at 547. So naturally, on Black Monday, they have to take it below that level and bring it back. And then they have to take it below that level again, right? And then there's this small X signal, which could mean, on this 2-day chart that you're approaching the bottom. The bottom is either $5. The bottom is between 5.5 and 4.75 if they puke it again for whatever reason, right? Ton on a 4-hour chart, 552 is one level, 511 is another. Again, any additional weakness in this market, especially if it's Toncoin related, because there will be negative news flow, I'm assuming, from whatever the French are going to do with this individual. If you just take a moment to think about what happened when the SEC declared Cardano, Solana, half of the coins on Coinbase a security, you were paid to buy that flush. Okay, Cepedis is asking about Arrow. How low can it go? Okay, let's talk about that. Okay, so let's take a look at Arrow on, say, a 4-hour chart. Okay, so Arrow has support at 65 cents. What we're waiting for in all these coins, we're waiting for the day when there's a 62% retracement and Arrow holds, which is not happening in this case, right? I think the bottom end of the support zone is 65. 64 cents is also support. Now, in the event that this is a bigger problem, 57 is like the deep oversold zone. I have a really hard time getting bearish on this after everything that we've all been through with it. In other words, giving up now doesn't feel like the right thing to do. And if you're looking to get more, well, it's a square range. They tried to break out at the top, and now they're just rotating back to the bottom, which is 62 cents. So 64, 62, 57. Again, square ranges, they can be bullish. They can be bullish. Okay. Let's not get wrapped up in ranges, corrections, or soft price action during the sleepy month of August. If these headlines with this guy from Toncoin, if what Zuckerberg just said to Congress, that he was compelled to share information and censor information, if this type of information doesn't get you keenly interested in a decentralized future, it's hard to say what will, right? I think everybody who's listening to me gets it. What we can't do is get discouraged, right? Just because it's a correction, just because it didn't go flying off the Fed news, one day the market's going to wake up, and anyone who's holding it down or all this BS that we worry about, like, again, first we're worrying about the Fed, and now crypto is worrying about the earnings of a chip company coming out tomorrow. Okay. Let's not do that. Let's stay strong. We'll see you tomorrow.